and welcome to Healthy Living. We're here today at Hilton Head Hospital with my friend Dr. Ravi Srivastava. Thank you so much for joining us. And our topic today is really appropriate. Dr. Ravi, you got in last night late from taking your son to school. So 2020 has proven to be a really interesting year. I don't want to say bad, I don't want to say good, I just think we've had to be adaptable. So I'd love to talk a little bit about schools and parents and children and young adults, adolescents, and how everyone is managing all of these moving parts. I think you and I talked a little bit. You want to kind of break it down into three component pieces.
Yeah, thank you for having me on the show. This pandemic has caused us to face problems in the area of social area, emotional areas, and behavioral, especially in the vulnerable people.
Exactly.
It's exposing our raw emotions and fears and concerns, and how do we manage what?
Exactly.
There is no good answer.
Okay.
It has been 22 weeks since the schools closed. It's a long time for kids to be out of school and not learn adequately, or learn in new ways of new ways of teaching. And
exactly.
It has been easy for some, difficult for a lot of people, because these are new times. Just because the schools are opening does not mean also that the virus is gone.
Okay.
So the pandemic is still going on, and we have to learn how to live with it in a safe way.
All right.
Now,
what does that look like? We don't, and let me say this, it's morphed and shifted and changed since the day we found out about it. So I think what I hear you saying is, from a resilience or an iteration point of view, we have to be willing to be a little more malleable, a little more adaptable, a little less rigid?
yes, and it can be done for most people.
Okay.
But people who have vulnerability and difficult, either financially, socially, or support system-wise, it is a really challenge, a really big challenge.
So let's talk, if we can, about these individual pieces. Let's talk initially from a social point of view or an environmental point of view. How does that affect parents, young children, and then older kids? What are you observing or seeing?
Yeah, like yesterday I dropped off my older son to college because the college reopened yesterday, and he was more than thrilled to go to see his friends there, not to go to school.
Well, of course.
He's very scared of how he's going to live in a dorm and how he's going to be safe.
Okay.
A lot of people are aware of what this virus can do, so they are using the social distancing and the mask and hand washing, which are the three things that has been said over and over again to do.
Can keep you as safe as possible.
As safe as possible, but the risk does not go down significantly even then. It's more difficult in younger children.
Okay.
So the preschoolers and the elementary schoolers, and they do not have the same concept.
True.
And so they have to be guided. The parents can guide some, the teachers can guide some, but ultimately it is still a difficult task to expect a young kid not to go and
hug
fool around
somebody,
with another friend, or hug a parent or a teacher.
It's really been interesting. I have a 3-year-old and 3-year-old granddaughter, Clementine, and she was always big hug and hold my hand to all of her friends. And now it's funny that she'll run up to me and stop and sort of bend her head, and it's, I kind of pat it or whatever. And then the older kids, she's got a friend that's 5 and 7, they all do the same thing. They come up to each other, but they stop, they parallel play. It's really been interesting to watch how, to be honest with you, how easily they've adapted to that. And I think that's just been consistent.
And that really happens when they model the parents and adults. So if the adults and parents are not making a big deal of social, physical distancing, then the kids will also sooner or later start following that, this is the right thing to do. They model after adults. Now, a few weeks ago, I was talking to a lot of parents with younger kids. They were very concerned about the school reopening. Because they said, well, they might open, they want us to have a choice of whether we can send them to school or Is it be online?
Virtual.
And they did not want to make that decision. Some people wanted to make a decision. Some people said, well, I don't want to really send my kid to school and have an illness, although I want the right thing to do is to send them to school for better education than online education, because they did that in spring and it was challenging.
Yes.
So when the school made this decision, the public school made the decision of making it only online, there was a significant relief in those parents. That, it's not my decision about sending my kid to that environment. Now, the smaller private schools have made a decision of opening it up so the kids can come in and they will have the school more secure for the learning environment and safety. So those kids also suddenly have the parents are more relaxed about that. We have made a decision, we're going to follow in our environment, so everybody's on the same page.
So what has a negative impact? Is it the isolation of the kids? Is it the fact that they're from a developmental stage, the high school kids, they need their peers. They miss their peers.
Yes, but also they need to be not sick.
Right.
So what is more important at this point of time? When we were talking about the pandemic and flattening the curve, flattening the curve does not decrease the number of cases. It increases over a period of time.
Got it.
So the numbers are going to remain the same, except the peak is going to be spread over a period of time. And that is what is going to happen with the measures that have been taken from public health point of view of physical distancing, wearing a mask and hand washing, and so it is going to get less number of cases but spread over a period of time. So the cases will keep on coming, but they'll be less in number on a daily basis, but spread over a period of time.
Where is the disconnect, do you think? When I look on the news or whatever and I see 45,000 kids partying or doing whatever, how do we share or help the kids understand that it doesn't have to be an all or nothing situation? There can be this, you can still have a good time, grand time with your friends, but it doesn't have to be so all or nothing.
Yeah, and that goes with education.
And
with media campaigns, with programs like this, when we're educating everybody, what are the options? What are the benefits? What are the drawbacks? And there is no right answer at this point of time, other than what the common wisdom through the public health department has been.
And I've been enjoying doing telehealth, but I oftentimes, with younger adults and my kid adolescents, I will see them, and I have to tell you, I've been really impressed. Every adolescent has come with a mask. They were all about social distancing, but when I ask them, it's because I am old. Not in a bad way, but I am vulnerable. And so I felt like they were very respectful. I think the disconnect then came where, when you're with your friends, what do you guys do?
Also, what you see in the national media and are more sensational news, which are the outliers. Majority of people are not like that.
Very
so
important
what is highlighted
point.
In those news clips are because it's so dramatic. And
that's fair.
People got shocked by seeing that. There's a shock value to that. But that is not what you see in day-to-day living.
Really not? That's so true.
So people are generally following what is common sense rules.
It makes sense to me. So that's sort of the social piece. From an emotional piece, what are you seeing with parents and kids? And you touched on it a little bit with just the stress and pressure of making a decision, do I send my kid or not? And if I, with all these, with the folks who are doing it virtually, what do the parents do about work? How does all that?
Well, let's take the ideal situation. The ideal would be the kids stay at home, they have help at home, they have teachers at home, and it's a safe environment. Parents are able to keep the kids safe at home, get them the help and teaching at home. It's not available for everybody in this system. It's only for very few people who can do that. But there's a spectrum of what this can be done. in the spring, a lot of parents figured out they can teach their kids.
Yes.
But also a lot of parents figure out they don't want to do that.
No, thank you.
They want to be the parent, not the teacher,
right.
because they have to work. So what is more important? Is employment more important to bring the money in, or is the child's welfare more important? These are very difficult decisions which causes a lot of anxiety and guilt.
Yes, it does.
Am I a good parent? Am I an adequate parent? Am I doing the right thing for my child?
So let's take a quick break, and I want to come back and I want to talk about not only the issues at hand, the negative, but where people can get help, where they can reach out. What are some questions that they can ask to feel better about their decisions? Stay with us. We'll be right back here on Healthy Living.